This segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.
Welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate, and I'm pleased to announce that we have Senator Bill Cassidy joining us via Zoom. Senator, thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, thank you, Jacob.
All right. First, I just want to get into one of the things that we recently saw is the House representative passed the big, beautiful bill, a tax policy proposal proposed by the Trump administration. Can you tell me, what challenges that may face in the Senate and what all that bill does?
Well, first, let's talk about a couple of good things in the bill. It raises the cap on GOMESA revenue sharing. So there will be I think roughly $150 million more per year for the next 10 years to help restore Louisiana's coastline. That's a good thing. The Fuchs and Terrebonne have done so much on a local level to promote flood control, and this helps that. Some of the other stuff we're still looking at. People are getting ginned up because the people who oppose it say you're going after this, you're going after that. First, we don't touch Social Security. And the only thing we're doing with Medicaid is asking folks who, if you're currently getting Medicaid, to either, and you're able-bodied and you don't have kids and you're between 18 and 64, that you either go to school 20 hours a week, volunteer 20 hours a week, or work 20 hours a week. And so I think that's doable for most people, certainly if you're able-bodied. So there's things that are really good, more money to restore Louisiana's coastline, and things that are not that bad, if they're bad at all, that people are trying to scare folks about. I'm going through it. I'm going to try and preserve that which is good and make sure the bad stuff doesn't hurt us. Certainly.
And I think, I heard one of the things you hear is that it may, increase the deficit. Or where do you stand on that? And is that one of the things that you're going to be looking at as well?
That is an incredible concern to mine. Our government is spending way too much than we take in. And so we've got to start to live within our means. And so whenever something changes, people say, well, it can't change. Well, one thing I can tell you, we've got to change the deficit. And I am a big deficit hawk. How do we learn to live within our means, just like the average family does, the average city or in our means? And that's kind of the goal of this big, beautiful bill.
Okay, let's see. Another area that I think that the administration was looking at addressing was probably trying to make some changes to FEMA to try to restructure it, maybe give some more money to the states. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So this bill doesn't touch FEMA as far as I've seen so far, but the administration and the president has talked about abolishing FEMA. Now, you can improve FEMA, you can rename FEMA, but I'm of the opinion that you need something like FEMA whenever you get such a big storm, a state is overwhelmed. And so I am very much advocating that put reforms in, change it, have new leadership, but we need something so that when there is a huge storm coming off the Gulf of America, or the Gulf of Mexico, that you have the federal government there to help if there's a problem. And I'll continue to push that.
All right. And another thing I know that you've been a big help with is hurricane protection. One area in this that is really critical to this area. Can you talk about any efforts that you've had in the past on that and whether that'll continue to be a focus of yours in the future?
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, our Bayou parishes have done a really good job of generating local dollars to build flood protection. And in the bipartisan infrastructure bill, there was $3 billion allocated to help communities around the country improve their flood protection. The Fuchs and Terrebonne have gotten probably several $100 million from this. It's off the top of my head, but have gotten hundreds of millions of dollars to have these structures. I want that to continue. I want that to continue so that we will have more money going for flood protection. And that's my goal.
Certainly. And I think One area that I believe that local leaders are trying to talk to about now, I don't know if it's gotten to your desk yet, is, I know a lot of money has been allocated to the United States Army Corps of Engineers, but it seems to be tied up there rather than being put on the ground. And there's going to be, I believe, a push to try to get those monies maybe funded an alternate way directly to states or locals to do what we've done so far in the past and actually put the money on the ground. Is that something that you would be in favor of?
Absolutely. I've been hearing from folks that the Army Corps was not deploying the money that I worked so hard to get allocated. So I've asked my staff to set up a meeting with the Army Corps saying, wait a second, we've got all this money. What is the delay in getting it out? Every delay means a greater possibility that there's going to be a storm for which we're not prepared. And I'm all about being prepared for the next storm. That's my goal. That's what I'm going to continue to work at.
Well, we certainly thank you for your help in the past efforts, and I know you'll continue to be an asset while you're in the Senate, and we certainly appreciate that. We do need to take a quick break, but we'll come back with more right here on HTV.
This segment was brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.
Welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate, and joining us via Zoom is United States Senator Bill Cassidy. Thank you again for joining us, Senator. Let's see, you're on the road.
Thank you, Jacob.
You're on the road a little bit, so a little bit bumpy, but we certainly thank you, appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy man, but one of the things I want to ask you about, I know it's one of the things that was a big issue on the President Trump's campaign. One thing that he wanted to address was immigration and speeding up deportations and just trying to fix a system that was broken. Can you tell us what's the latest in those efforts?
Yeah, so first, let's just give the president the due. He got elected saying he wanted to shut down illegal immigration at the southern border. He got elected. Within the first couple of weeks, he called up the Mexican president and said, listen, if you don't control that southern border, both by controlling the people coming across and the fentanyl coming across, I'm going to put 25% tariffs on your goods coming from Mexico. That got their attention. And within 30 days, the Mexican army was going after cartels in Mexico, shutting down their fentanyl operations, shutting down their human trafficking. So that is just give the president his due. He got elected to do that. Within 30 days, he accomplished it. The second thing, as regards the big, beautiful bill, there's also money in the big, beautiful bill to help strengthen the border going forward. And so we can also say that even if there is a different president in 4 years, and there will be, that president will have the tools that he needs or she needs in order to protect our southern border. And so that's what we say about immigration. The president made it a priority. He accomplished his priority, and we're trying to give more funding to make sure that success continues in the future.
All right. And I know one of the other priorities, of course, he had is making things in the United States, making America great again, like his first term. I know he wanted to do it again. One thing, increase exports, particularly LNG expansion. Can you talk about what's happening that and the possibility to export some of that liquefied natural gas out of this area where there's an excess?
Yeah, the president said he wanted to make America energy dominant. And so in the big, beautiful bill that came over from the House of Representatives, there's several things that would make it easier to export liquefied natural gas. Now, of course, that's related to creating jobs. Every time they build a new liquefied natural gas export terminal, that creates tens of thousands of construction jobs and hundreds, if not thousands, of permanent jobs. And so in the big, beautiful bill, we've got lots of things that make that happen faster. But by the way, the first thing that President Trump did is he got rid of all the Biden regulations that were making it harder to build these export facilities. So both by getting rid of the Biden stuff, as well as by making it easier in the big, beautiful bill, I think we're going to see those jobs created, and that liquefied natural gas that we're producing will have more markets to export to. The other thing in the big, beautiful bill, it's increasing the amount of offshore oil and gas leasing. So much of our state is related to production of oil and gas offshore. And they're mandating 15 lease sales or 30 lease sales over the next 15 years. I think that's it. That's a lot of jobs for South Louisiana, a lot of jobs, a lot of business that will expand to meet the need. And so as part of making America energy dominant, there's going to be this effort to expand leasing. And when that happens, my golly, there's going to be better jobs, more of them.
Now, I would imagine that would also increase the offshore continental shelf revenue, that the bill also increases the sharing in that as well, right?
Yes. So we mentioned earlier in the previous segment how there's going to be increased revenue coming to our state for coastal restoration. And of course, you got to start off by generating the revenue. So more lease sales, they'll generate more revenue. And then there's a more generous sharing of that revenue with Louisiana, Texas, and the other Gulf Coast states. And Louisiana gets most of that. So all that's good. We're doing well with this.
All right. Last thing, I guess I want to ask you just a little bit about, of course, it's been the big topic for the last month or so is the overall tariff policies. Can you talk a little bit about how you think that's going and whether or not, we're going to end up in the right position when that's all, I guess, negotiated with every country
we can
out
see
there?
that we can see that some of it has worked because, again, when the president said to the president of Mexico that I'm going to put a 25% tariff on you unless you take care of the immigration and the cartels, she went after it and it happened right away. Now, in terms of our other tariffs, many countries have immediately come to the table and they are willing to lower their tariffs to allow more of our goods to export into those countries. I am a little bit concerned. I want to make sure that as we put these tariffs, it doesn't raise prices for American consumers. What I'm told is just a small amount of tariffs, those prices will stay pretty much flat. But if you start increasing them more, that unfortunately those tariffs are passed on to the consumer. She goes to Walmart, she pays more. We don't want more inflation like we had under Biden. We need to keep inflation down, and we have to hope the president gets it just right.
Well, Senator, we certainly thank you for giving an update on all the efforts in Washington. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule for coming and talk to us, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Jacob.
All righty. Everybody stay tuned for more right here on HTV.
This segment was brought to you by Barker Honda. It's better at Barker.